This is Hannibal with a daily news update for September the 28th. Tito Ortiz, who I interviewed last year in an interview that's posted in full up here on the Hannibal TV, is apparently upset over the ESPN 30 for 30 documentary about his feud with Chuck Liddell that begins airing on ESPN October 15th at 9 p.m. and will be available on ESPN On Demand October 18th. Dana White, Joe Rogan, Randy Couture, and Ken Shamrock will appear in this documentary. And Tito Ortiz called it a hack job, I believe. And Shameful Hackjob. So he thinks that Dana White chopped it up and edited it. So I guess UFC does work with ESPN. So if Dana White had control over how that 30 for 30 is being presented, you know that those two have not been on the best terms. And if you don't know that, watch my shoot interview with him right here on the Hannibal TV. And by the way, someone from Ortiz's management said that he is going to be doing a Skype interview with me in November prior to his fight against Alberto Del Rio from the WWE in December, which they still haven't set a date for it yet, but I believe it's going to be in Las Vegas. Speaking of Las Vegas, Ring of Honor had their Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view there tonight. The big news is there was a title change. Matt Tavern, whose contract is supposedly up in a week or so, lost the title to Rush. So maybe that means he's going to another company. You never know. And PCO and someone else. PCO and Marty Scurll advanced in the Ring of Honor tournament to find out who the number one contender is. And no word on the crowd, but supposedly they were hoping for a good walk-up because as of a few weeks ago, there was like 150 pre-sold. The place held about 900, and they're at the same place tomorrow night for their TV taping. Brandon Archer's asking me what my favorite finisher is. Well, it has to be a finisher that I used on the referee after he screwed me over in my AJ Styles match, even though I beat him 2 times in that. I pinned him 2 times in one night. And I basically took the referee, turned him upside down, and pile drove him through a table to the cement floor. And someone says, Sparkles to Xavier with a heel kick. No way. That ain't my favorite. And I also did that to Canadian Senator Patrick Brazo the following year, and that made all the news everywhere, all over Canada, that I did that. So, that's the coolest move ever, and I do it better than Terry Funk did it to Ric Flair. How do you like that, Terry Funk? I actually break the tables when I do it. I don't have it just bend down and then flop down, and then you tell everyone the table was still broke, but I have to throw that shot to Terry Funk there because everyone knows I beat him up and retired him from wrestling for good. So there is some more news. Adam Cole was pulled from the NXT Midwest tour due to injury. We did see that they had 350 fans in Des Moines, Iowa earlier this week as part of that tour. Rusev officially became a U.S. citizen after 14 years of living in the USA. Well, I hope I can one day say I'm a U.S. citizen too, because I hate these Canadian winters, and I would love to live in Arizona one day. Just like my mentor, superstar Billy Graham. And Edge announced today, which, by the way, Billy Graham's doing better, according to my friend that spoke to him recently, and hopefully we get some more good news for him on the weekend. I still don't know about Hacksaw's update. Hopefully he's doing all right. Edge announced today that because of family issues, he's leaving the Edge and Christian WWE podcast And Samu, who was part of the head shrinkers and Samoan SWAT team, underwent a 13-and-a-half-hour liver transplant today that was successful, but he was in a lot of pain after the surgery, according to one of his sons. I really like the Samoan family. Other than, of course, my issue with Haku and Barbarian, you had no business sticking your nose in that thing that happened at the Cauliflower Alley either. So I guess I could scratch you off the list of Samoans I like. But I am close with some of them, and I like the family. I even like Roman Reigns. So you guys can crucify me for that. I'll answer a couple questions. I will say one more thing in case you didn't hear it. I posted it earlier today. Apparently CM Punk had a tryout for the new WWE Backstage show that Fox is producing themselves. It's not a WWE show. We've seen when they do video games, they don't always have control of who's on the cover. So Fox, if they want CM Punk for that show, which would make the show more popular, for sure, because MMA fans know him and wrestling fans know him. And yeah, I think they should use him on that show, to be honest with you. But yeah, this means, in my opinion, that he's probably not going to AEW, at least not yet. He's not probably going to be a surprise on Wednesday's show if he's feeling out the waters on WWE-related projects, because that would be in direct conflict with AEW. And we've seen AEW hasn't let people like Jon Moxley wrestle on New Japan shows in the U.S., nor Chris Jericho. So they're not going to allow people to work with companies that are in direct competition with him, I don't think. But time will tell. But that's all over the news today. Motor Sash says, what podcast do I listen to? Well, I am a big Jim Ross fan, so I listen to his here and there. Steve Austin's I listen to here and there. I think it was a little bit better before he took the break, since he's come back from the break. He might be interviewing bigger stars, but I don't know. This interview seemed less entertaining. But he might be coming back to the ring. So everyone's getting huge offers. I heard them saying today on Wrestling Observer Radio that wrestlers are making big money now. Ring of Honor's throwing out triple-digit contracts. PCO told me in the past he was signed to a triple-digit contract. And you only wrestle like 3 times a month for that, sometimes maybe a bit more. So that's pretty easy money. NXT, they're not making that much now, but that's going to probably go up now that they're on USA Network. Impact, we heard that Killer Cross's issue was over a $40,000 a year contract. But $40,000 a year and being able to work elsewhere and only working for Impact a few times a month, that's not bad money. Not the greatest, but we know AEW's throwing around huge money. New Japan's throwing around huge money. So it's a good time to be a wrestler. People are getting signed up. Raving Junk Removal Entrepreneur says, I should have wrestled back in the 90s, 6'8", 450. Yeah, you should have. Someone says, I should interview Bill Apter. I have interviewed Bill Apter numerous times. He's right on here. Search Bill Apter, the Hannibal TV. What didn't Tito like about the 30 for 30 documentary? Sonja W. said, watch the top of this. He thinks that they chopped the interviews up to make the documentary go in their favor. Obviously, we all know, watch the shoot I did with Tito. There's heat between Tito and Dana White. And obviously, this documentary may have been chopped up to make Tito look bad, but I guess we'll find out. Roberto Bravo says, have I interviewed Scott Steiner? There is a driving interview with him, and everyone gets on my case about that driving interview that has over 100,000 hits, and many of the clips have thousands and thousands of hits. Why did I do that? When I was driving, because we were driving to a Great North Wrestling event that was a good distance away, and there was no shoot interview scheduled that day. There was no time for a shoot interview. So we had to do it while driving, and that was also recorded in 2012 before I even started interviewing people, really. So that was just used more of like B-roll footage that we were planning to put out on a DVD and ended up putting out on the web. But I did speak with Scott Steiner WrestleMania weekend, and I do want to use him in Great North Wrestling in the future, and hopefully at that time we'll actually plan a good interview with good audio, because I enjoyed also the shoot interview I did with Rick Steiner. And by the way, I have defeated Rick Steiner. Look that match up here on the Hannibal TV. Explosive Phoenixes. Have I interviewed Raven? No, but I have talked to him about doing interviews, and he has been open to it. If I ever take a trip to Atlanta, I think I have a bad taste in my mouth regarding a big fat slob that lives in Atlanta. So I guess I've avoided it so far, although I did compete for Deep South Wrestling in the past and lived in McDonough, Georgia for a short period of time there, and I did like it there when I stayed there. Thank you, the person that says my Rick Steiner interview was excellent. And that's all I'm going to answer for tonight. I'll let you guys know more news tomorrow. I'm working on my next shoot interview series. Someone says, I think Raven would be a really good trainer. I think he's working for Impact. At one point in the not too long ago past, I heard that Raven was helping to write Impact. Somehow Tommy Dreamer was helping writing not too long ago either. He has his nose in everything. Maybe that's why I'm banned from all the companies, why I'm not making any of that money that's being thrown around for the various people that hold grudges towards me. Have a great night, everyone, from Hannibal the Death Dealer.